Good morning from the forge. It's been a while since I made a video. I'm sorry about that, but some of y'all out there know I'm a paramedic as well as a blacksmith. I've put in between the two jobs over 100 hours a week. Videos take time, and I don't make a dime off YouTube. You got to be 1,000 subscribers before you can reach that monetization mark, and even then it's kind of a struggle from there on. One of our subscribers a little while ago, several weeks ago actually, I guess, asked if I could do a video showing a knife from start to finish, and that's what I'm going to try to do today. I'm going to be trying to start out with a piece of, it's actually a very old circular sawmill blade. A lot of people like to use found stock, like to use scrap steel, you know, railroad spikes, railroad clips, old chisels, things like that. So we're going to try a little scrap knife today. Going to try to follow this from start to finish. I know I'm talking a lot, and I apologize for that. But honestly, it's just hard to find the time between working on orders and working two jobs. And my fishing rods have been sitting since October. Haven't had time to do a thing other than work. And I won't lie, I'm kind of getting sick of it. There will be some things in this process that I won't show on video, mainly because they're too long, too boring. So if you stick around to the end of the video, I'll tell you what I skipped over. Thinking about starting a Patreon account. Don't have any experience with that. Maybe somebody out there knows more about it than I do can pipe up in the comments. That'd be appreciated, and any advice would be appreciated. I'm gonna have to do something to make some more time or to make some more money so we can make some more time. Because honestly, I hate doing things halfway, and for a while now, this YouTube channel has been kind of a halfway thing for me, and I find that very frustrating. But anyway, fire's lit. Let's get on heating and beating some steel. Thanks for watching in advance. Hope you stick around to the end. Hope you hit that like button. Give us a subscribe. Pardon my crappy English. I can't seem to make my tongue work this morning. Anyway, thanks for watching. Well, we're going to start out by isolating what's going to be the blade from the handle. I'm just doing this to mark the length of the blade I want. Work it down a little bit deeper and work in our finger well. A lot of people like to start at the tip of the blade and work back, and then they make their handle wherever they choose to that way. I like to pick the length of my blade to start with. And I want a medium-sized knife. Something not too big, you know. I want something small enough to be everyday carry. And I think I want to make like a drop point. So we're going to work our finger choil or finger well out. And now we're going to add a little profile, a little shape to the handle. And I've got too much handle here, but that's okay. I'll cut that off later. Ideally, a blade and handle should be roughly the same length. It just makes your knife look more balanced. Using my butcher's block brush to knock the forge scale off, because I'm going to forge this blade almost to finish, and I want to do very little grinding on it. So I'm going to try to keep the scale off as much as I can. Work the tip out a little bit. Now I'm going to come to the horn of the anvil and knock a reverse curve into that blade. You've seen me do this before. And now start working the bevels out, and as I work those bevels out, it's going to push that blade back out straight. Working from both sides evenly. I want to keep my blade in the center, or my edge in the center. Pulling the steel down from the spine toward the edge. It's working out just fine. I'm going to take a little more time with this blade than normal. Like I said, I'm going to forge almost completely to finish, I hope. And that means I'll be taking more time at low heat. Once you start seeing it fade off towards the black, you'll see me keep hitting it. And when I am, I'm just barely tapping it. I'm planishing out the hammer marks. It's looking pretty good. Need to add a little curve to that profile, just a little. Don't really like that recurve at the tip, so I'm going to forge in a little more distal taper along the spine and take that recurve out. Yeah, that's not bad. I'm going to play with it just a little bit more and work on that profile just a little more. I'm still going to clean the profile up on the grinder, but I don't want to do much grinding, so I'm going to get pretty close. I think that looks pretty good. There, I'm just straightening the handle a little bit. I didn't like that downward curve. Had too much downward curve between the handle and the blade. And that's my touch mark. Just a hot stamp. Stamping my touch mark onto the blade. I don't touch mark all my blades. Did this one, and that handle needs to be cut off. I'll do that in a minute. So here we are in the grinding shed. I have cut the handle off, and I'm just going to clean the profile up a little bit. I believe that's about a 120 grit belt. It's about half worn out, but I don't need to take too much off. Do a little grinding on the wheel. I'm not going to move the camera to do that. Just to clean up the curves in the handle. That's pretty good. Pretty good. Yep. Check to make sure it fits the hand good so I can change things if it doesn't. I think it needs to take just a little bit out there in the finger choil. Help keep the finger away from what's going to be the sharp edge. I apologize for the background noise. That's my old dog walking around in the house. That's, I believe it's going to be a nice blade when it's finished. I've still got to go out and start the heat treat. We'll do that momentarily. We're back out at the forge. You can see I've marked where I want to put my pinholes. I'm just going to go to the drill press and drill the pinholes. Center punch. Now if you center punch where you're going to put your pinholes, always check your blade for straightness. Now we're normalizing. Now I brought that up to a bright yellow, and now I'm just going to let it air cool to black. I've got it sitting off the edge of the anvil so the anvil doesn't wick the heat away and cause the blade to cool slower than it needs to. I want that blade to cool nice and slow. Just a waiting game. And now we're going to go back to the forge again. and heat it up to just a yellow. And once again, let it air cool. And this is normalizing. This relieves the stress from the steel, decreases the likelihood of a crack in the blade in the quench, gets the blade ready for the stress that's going to be placed on it when it's quenched, and equalizes the grain growth, the carbides across the blade. And here's our last normalization cycle. I'm going to bring it up to just a good red color, and it'll go back on the anvil to air cool again. And while it's air cooling, I'm going to get my quench vat ready. You'll see it in a minute. My quench vat's just an ammo can. I used to keep my quench oil in an uncovered container, and I kept having a possum break into my forge and drink the oil that I used to quench. So I keep it in the ammo can now so I can close the lid and lock it. Well, lock it well enough to keep the possum out. There we go. Heat the blade up to non-magnetic and into the quench. Keep it agitated. Otherwise, you'll get the lead and frost effect, which is basically a layer of steam which insulates the blade. And there you go. That's the color you want on a properly quenched blade. Okay, so I've worked with that steel before, so I kind of know what it needs for a heat treat. The only thing I really didn't show in this video was drilling the handles, and well, if you got a hand drill or a drill press, that should be pretty well self-explanatory. Figuring out handle length and things like that. Handle length really ought to be just about the same as blade length. Make your blade look balanced. You've seen the normalization procedure, talked about that. Now I'm not going to show the rest of the heat treat, which we're going to go to an oven. And for that particular steel, I'm going to go to about 410, 415 degrees. I'm going to do 2 hours on, take it out, let it air cool. Back 2 hours, take it out, let it air cool. Back 2 hours. So 3 2-hour heat treat cycles. That's for the tempering process. And then that blade will be ready to handle. So we'll do that on the next video. If you're still here, thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Leave us a like. Be sure and subscribe. Leave us a comment in the comment section. Thanks and God bless.